It is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. And the fact is that originally it's, oh yeah, you know, we're looking towards everything. Then they had to double down. They actually redacted this statement. They redacted a statement. They redacted the statement saying we're looking at everything, saying, no, we're actually not looking at most of the stuff. We're looking at a lie spread on social media that went viral. We are looking into a literal lie spread on social media that got spoken into fact. We're looking at a lie.
The WNBA just hit Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever with a penalty so bizarre, even Angel Reese had to do a double take. And that's saying something, considering she thrives on chaos. Did the league just show its true hand? Or is this another round of let's confuse the fans and call it drama? Either way, things got wild, petty, and downright hilarious. Strap in, because this latest twist makes the WNBA look like it's being scripted by a sleep-deprived screenwriter with a taste for mayhem.
The WNBA, this has to be the most pathetic professional organization I have ever come across. This has to be the most unprofessional organization I have ever come across. This league would definitely not succeed without Adam Silver saying, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money. Without David Stern saying, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money. This league would be gone. And that's what happens when you don't need to think logically, when you don't need to think like a business, when you can continue to put activism at the forefront because daddy's gonna continue to pay your bills. You're allowed to get off the rails. You're allowed to say whatever outlandish stuff you want to say because it doesn't matter. You'll never fail.
Can you take us through the flagrant foul from your perspective? Just what you saw in that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball play, refs got it right. Move on.
Ah yes, the WNBA, a league where intensity gets watered down and real rivalries are treated like PR disasters. If you've ever wondered what pro basketball would look like after being passed through an HR seminar and decorated with quotes from a Be Kind Pinterest board, this is it. And the latest chapter? A headline-worthy saga starring none other than Caitlin Clark, the certified bucket, and Angel Reese, who plays every game like it's WrestleMania, and she's both the hero and the heel. Let's break down the madness.
Okay, so I didn't hear anything outside of the run-of-the-mill booing. But the WNBA seems content to follow through with this ridiculous investigation. Who is the WNBA going to let control their pocket strings, their pocketbooks? Because it seems to me like the new fans are the ones that's funding this whole league now. I mean, we make up about 70% of the fans overall. Otherwise, yesterday's game would have been watched by about 400,000 people, maybe. It probably got watched by what? Upwards of 2 million? I mean, does the WNBA want to lose Caitlin Clark fans? Because I think as much as people want to support Caitlin Clark.
Picture this. Caitlin Clark, master of clutch moments, elite court vision, and actual basketball IQ, makes a smart, calculated defensive play. She slides in with what might be the cleanest, most respectful contact the league has seen all season. You'd call it hustle in any sport that hasn't been bubble wrapped, but in the WNBA, touch someone, and suddenly it's treated like a federal offense.
Fans yell and fans scream and fans try to do anything they can to diminish their opponent's ability to make a bucket. And I think that it's very hard to really understand or really interpret this sound that way, at least for me it is. And I'm really, really, really hoping that the WNBA did not just announce an official investigation based on internet hearsay and outrage.
Enter Angel Reese, who instead of brushing it off and getting back to the game, acted like she just landed a lead role in the next Fast and Furious movie. Full contact, full drama, full throttle attitude. But here's the twist. Caitlin, she didn't react, didn't flinch, didn't even blink. She just turned and walked off like she was late for a coffee date and had zero time for low-budget theatrics. But that wasn't the headline. Nope. The WNBA, in all its questionable wisdom, didn't focus on Angel turning the court into her own personal wrestling ring. Instead, they pointed fingers at, wait for it, Indiana Fever fans. Because apparently when chaos erupts, it's the crowd's fault now.
I don't know why I'm so angry about this. I'm so angry about this is because how many kids are there in that audience? How many kids are there? And I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm cool with idiots online branding me as whatever they want to. But when it comes to innocent kids who just want to watch their favorite team, favorite players play basketball, and thankfully they're going to be oblivious to this. But I'm sorry, you're branding kids as dangerous. You are branding kids who are just enjoying their game, who are having the time of their lives watching this league as dangerous. This league does not want to grow. This Players Association do not want to grow. Wnba, don't criticize. Watch, don't criticize. That.
So mad at how AB defended her teammate, how Dewana Bonner spoke about the fans. They were so mad about a common basketball play in which Angel Reese admitted was a basketball play, that they went out of their way to make things like this. Unless the powers that be make some drastic changes to support our players and their fans, I don't think Indianapolis should be allowed to host the WNBA's All-Star Weekend. These people are writing emails because they're so emotionally unhinged. They're so emotionally unhinged. They've never been checked a day in their life. Their parents allow them to act like fools with no repercussion, with no consequence. Always being acquiesced to every little complaint, to every little need, to every little this, to every little that. They're writing emails to get the Indiana Fever.
The real villains, apparently the fans, you know, the ones guilty of cheering for their own team and booing the player who went after their franchise star. Outrageous, right? How dare they show passion? In the WNBA's new rule book, being loud, loyal, and even slightly confrontational now qualifies as a crime, because rivalries, too risky, competitive spirit, problematic. And if your reaction isn't a polite golf clap paired with a filtered smile for Instagram, well, you're clearly out of line.
4 hours ago, we had a situation that shook the earth. That is Caitlin Clark putting a flagrant foul on Angel Reese, and that foul arguably was probably one of the most transcendent moments in Caitlin Clark's career. To me, that moment there showed the world that Caitlin Clark wasn't backing down for nothing, and she wasn't scared to get in the mix when it comes to protecting her teammates and stopping somebody from making a basket. Well, many other Angel Reese fans have rage war against Caitlin Clark fan base by saying racial slurs online, and me personally, I'm staying out of the racial stuff as of right now. But for them to sit up there and lie and say that Angel Reese again called racist names during the game, I had somebody from my team sitting right behind Chicago Sky bench. Wasn't nobody saying nothing about Angel, man.
It's like the WNBA has developed a full-blown allergy to real competition, the kind of raw on-court tension that actually built sports in the first place. Not the overproduced PR fluff, but authentic rivalries that make fans care. Instead, we're stuck in the league's carefully curated utopia, where every player is expected to smile like they're running for office, and one wrong emotion sends league execs into a full-blown panic attack. You'd think the league would be thrilled with the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese drama. It's the most buzz they've had since someone stumbled onto a game while flipping past Food Network. But rather than letting this rivalry evolve and drive ratings, they've smothered it in soft messaging and corporate overreaction. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has unintentionally become the WNBA's walking ink blot test. Whatever you believe about her, you'll find a way to see it. Some see a generational talent lifting the league into the spotlight. Others, they somehow see a villain destroying locker rooms with a single bounce pass. And if you dare speak up in her defense, congratulations. You've just earned a spot on the WNBA's blacklist, where logic and reason go to collect dust.
6 or 7 of their players have been called racial slurs for an entire day, but they're on the Indiana Fever. They don't care about those players. It's only certain players. The WNBA players, they don't want Caitlin Clark, and it's very clear. The WNBPA releasing a statement is the most embarrassing thing I've seen, because you know what? When it comes to the Fever players, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. The WNBPA said something. And you know what? Their stance is clear. There's no place for hate unless it's towards Caitlin Clark or her teammates. Then it's fair game. They have made that point abundantly clear, and it's embarrassing.
Let's take it back to where it all began. A basketball game, a real one. Caitlin Clark makes a smart, calculated play. Angel Reese responds like she just got personally disrespected. And Clark, she shrugs it off, calm as ever, showing more poise than the WNBA's entire PR team could dream of. But instead of celebrating that cool under pressure, what does the league do? They issue a statement blaming the Indiana fans? Because clearly, that's the real crisis here. Gotta hand it to to them, the WNBA will twist itself into a pretzel before admitting what's actually wrong. Angel's over-the-top reaction? Brushed aside. Her fiery post-game attitude? Just passion. But a few fans yelling boo? That's where they draw the line. Sound the alarms? Someone showed too much emotion in a sporting event. It's almost like the league is terrified of intensity, like competition might mess with their carefully filtered pastel-colored brand. They want group hugs after hard fouls, smiling selfies after turnovers, and maybe a tea party at half court instead of a tip-off. And whatever you do, don't call it a rivalry. That's way too raw, too real, too much like something people might actually watch sports for. No, let's water it down and call it positive engagement or mutual admiration through athletic.
They lost sight of reality. They lost sight of what real sports is about. The fans at the Indiana Fever game yesterday, they were being fans. They booed, they cheered, they screamed, they yelled. That's it. The Angel Reese fans, the old guard, the lowest common denominator that resides in the WNBA, the nose picker, the people that scratch their butt and don't watch their hands, those people saw that Caitlin Clark hard foul on Angel Reese, and they saw it as an opportunity. They saw it as an opportunity to do what they always do. Make it about race.
Wouldn't want anyone's feelings getting bruised, except maybe the actual fans who showed up to enjoy the game. Because clearly, keeping everything nice and emotionally safe is priority number one, even if it drains the life out of the atmosphere that makes sports worth watching in the first place. Now let's talk about the WNBA's brilliant idea of a punishment following this whole mess. Spoiler alert, it's not what anyone expected. With all the buzz and controversy, you'd think anybody might actually face consequences. Maybe a fine for Angel Reese? A warning about escalating tension? Nope, nothing. Instead, the league decided to crack down on Indiana Fever fans. Yeah, seriously. The people who booed. The ones who had the audacity to react to what they saw on the court like, you know, fans. According to the league, that's the real problem. People showing emotion at a live sporting event they paid good money to attend. What's next? A ban on clapping? A strict no cheering policy? Maybe fans will be handed pamphlets about respectful silence before tip-off. At this rate, the WNBA might as well turn every arena into a library, where the only sound allowed is a soft golf clap and maybe a well-timed bravo whispered under your breath. Welcome to the new age of professional sports, where passion is policed, emotion is dangerous, and the people who care the most, they're the ones getting punished.
So as soon as I landed from Indianapolis to LaGuardia, New York, I got an email in my inbox relating to a WNBA statement. And to be quite frank, I was surprised to see it. I didn't think these things would be a topic this year. It's certainly not at this point. But here we go again.
And sarcasm? Oh, that's basically contraband in today's WNBA. One witty jab, and it's like the entire league goes into lockdown. You'd think a clever comment might trigger a full-blown code red in league offices. But let's be real. This whole situation isn't just some petty squabble between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark anymore. Nope. It's become a reflection of a league that's obsessed with micromanaging every headline, every highlight, every second, until all the raw emotion is scrubbed clean. They're chasing this overly polished, squeaky clean image. So polished, in fact, it doesn't reflect anything real. Just a corporate-friendly glaze of safe talking points and generic smiles. And every time something real starts to simmer, some heat, some grit, something people might actually care about, the WNBA swoops in like a hall monitor with a noise complaint, desperate to tone it down for optics. No sparks, no waves, no emotion, just a flat, pre-approved feed of rehearsed interviews and lifeless commentary. But here's a crazy thought. What if fans actually want to see some fire? What if they're tuning in for the intensity, the rivalries, the unscripted moments that make sports interesting? Because let's face it, without that edge, the only thing waking people up during another 52-48 fourth quarter crawl is the hope of a little chaos. Fans don't want another sanitized stage show. They want conflict, passion, storylines. They want a reason to care.
Number one, let me put it out there. I don't believe for a second that Indiana Fever fans were yelling racial slurs where there were television mics down by the court. I don't believe it. They would have gotten thrown out of the arena. So don't let that narrative, it would be everywhere. Somebody would have it on camera. It would get leaked. It would be online right now. It's not. Everybody's got camera phones. We would already know if that was true. So don't let them slide you into some kind of false bullshit like they did at Duke and that player over that BYU.
Instead, what do we get? A league that responds to a heated, intense moment by pointing fingers at the fans, scolding them, and then acting surprised when viewership barely clings on, hanging by a thread and a Caitlin Clark highlight reel. Because, let's face it, without Clark, half of these games wouldn't even make it onto Twitter timelines. She's the reason people are tuning in, the reason tickets are flying off the shelves. But instead of backing her, promoting her, or simply letting her play her game, the league's busy making sure Angel Reese's feelings stay untouched by a few boos. The irony here is thicker than Angel Reese's pregame eyeliner. This is a league that's supposed to be all about empowerment, women rising up, fierce competition, breaking barriers. Yet every time something truly powerful happens, they strip away the very edge that makes the sport exciting. Caitlin Clark plays like a true champion. She handles the chaos with grace and steps away from drama like she's on a different level, because she is. But somehow, she's the one getting labeled the problem, and the fans who cheer her on, even worse. Apparently, they need a crash course in how to cheer with kindness.
A lot of tension going on online between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark fan base. The reality of the situation is, man, this is the reality for the Angel Reese fan. Angel Reese is not relevant at all as of right now for basketball. Angel Reese is a social media influencer. Her basketball career is diminishing right before our eyes. She needs this rivalry to keep going to make herself relevant in the basketball world. Because in the basketball world, her attributes and stuff really is starting to diminish. This year, we're going to see a decline in Angel Reese. Now, granted, she got a double-double yesterday, but she had to work her butt off to get it, man. And I'm here to tell you, we're going to see a diminishing Angel Reese this basketball season. Now, something else.
This whole situation has become a textbook example of how to completely mishandle your own momentum. The WNBA finally grabs attention. They've got a real superstar, a figure who sparks strong opinions, and a budding rivalry that could actually draw fans in. So what's their move? They smother it all with fake outrage and virtue signaling press statements. At this rate, you half expect the league to bring in comfort counselors and emotional support llamas. Players might not be allowed to dunk on each other, but they could gather in some safe zone near the baseline to talk about their feelings. The WNBA had a golden chance to fuel the fire, to embrace the drama, and let the storylines unfold naturally. Instead, they chose silence and caution, scared of upsetting anyone. The league seems trapped in a never-ending fear of being unpopular, even when controversy would finally mean they're being noticed. This isn't just bad PR. It's outright self-sabotage. Indiana Fever fans did exactly what fans everywhere do. They booed the villain. That's not hatred, it's tradition, it's passion, it's the heartbeat of sports. No villain means no hero. But try telling that to a league whose idea of drama is a slightly awkward handshake.
If I were the WNBA, I would look into these allegations before posting a public notice that there are allegations, because there's two things that you can be accused of. In my opinion, no matter what the outcome, just the accusation tarnishes.
What's next for the WNBA? Handing out penalties for overly intense eye contact, throwing technical fouls at anyone who drops a little sarcasm. Maybe it's time to swap referees for guidance counselors, complete with stress balls and scripts on de-escalation. Honestly, it feels like we're just one memo away from issuing citations for unsportsmanlike facial expressions. What's going on here? This is supposed to be professional sports, not a group therapy session. If players get fired up on the court, that's a good thing. It shows they care. It means they're not just clocking in like it's a 9-to-5 office job. But this growing aversion to any kind of conflict is stripping the league of what it desperately needs. Raw, real emotion, rivalries, passion, those unforgettable moments that make fans jump up, scream at their screens, and tweet non-stop until their thumbs give out. So instead of cracking down on every glare, every shrug, every little spicy exchange, like it's some HR emergency, how about the WNBA try something different for once? Let the rivalries breathe. Let the personalities clash. Let the drama unfold naturally. That's how you craft stories people actually care about.
In itself, and I feel like the battles that, folks go through are not to be weaponized for basketball. It feels like such an empty platitude designed to vilify people more than really stop anything legitimate. So,
and Caitlin Clark, keep doing your thing, draining those deep threes, dropping those ice cold no look assists, and yes, keep walking away like the queen you are while chaos erupts behind you. That calm, that confidence, that's what makes you a true star. The WNBA needs more players like you, focused, fierce, and too busy dominating the court to get caught up in the drama. Meanwhile, let's give a huge shout out to the Indiana Fever fans. While some arenas feel like a quiet tea party with polite claps and lukewarm cheers, you showed up loud and proud. You reminded everyone that sports aren't meant to be sanitized into boredom. They're supposed to be passionate, messy, fiercely competitive, and yeah, sometimes a bit petty. That's what makes them unforgettable. So here's a message to the WNBA. Loosen the tie, turn up the volume, and let things get real. Nobody wants a league full of elite athletes acting like they're stuck on a Zoom call with HR. Let them play, let them feel, let them fight for every inch. That's how legends are made.
Advice to Caitlin Clark is never interact with that girl on the basketball court or off the basketball court, because any basketball play will turn into a non-basketball discussion. If you ever have to guard her, just call for a switch. Like, if she's going for a layup, just let her get the 2 points, man. Don't even foul. Don't even attempt to steal it. Because these nerds on social media are not gonna let the two of you ever interact without having a non-basketball discussion. So don't even interact with her no more, man.
So here we are. The WNBA has finally revealed its true colors. And no, it's not the fierce, groundbreaking vibe they hype up in every promo. What we got instead are the dull, watered-down shades of performative harmony, beige and bland. It's the let's all get along, don't cause a scene palette, where conflict is taboo and real rivalries are swept under the rug. Cheer too loudly, you're too aggressive. Boo a little too hard. Suddenly, you're the problem. Want to compete and celebrate a win. That's apparently breaking some unwritten code of sportsmanship, which now means everyone must smile politely and nobody keeps score, unless it's on Twitter. This is a league that constantly begs to be taken seriously, to be watched and talked about like the NBA. But the moment real heat or drama sparks, out comes the PR team with their fire extinguisher, dousing everything in a safe, bland, corporate-approved silence. The players, they're passionate, skilled, and hungry. The league, it's terrified of its own potential. They crave attention but fear controversy, want engagement but only if it's calm and controlled, demand energy but in small, polite doses. And then they act surprised when fans shrug and label it boring.